Hey everyone. So it's a Monday evening here. I'm feeling a little bit bloated and demotivated. Not a huge fan of Mondays in general. And I like to binge at the weekend. So I like to be strict Monday to Friday, and then I like to just eat, whatever I want basically at the weekend. So I always feel a bit bad on Monday. Did a 20-minute workout when I got up, just running up and down the stairs in my building, still in the quarantine, so it's an easy thing to do, just up and down 5 flights of stairs. And then I do like a press up walk, a bit like this, all around my block, my building block. You can't really see it, you can. When I do that all around the block, it's really hard. So I run up, I do that around it, and then I run down the stairs and I do like 30 press ups or something like that, and then I run back up, do that for 20 minutes, absolutely kills me. But now I'm just going to do, for my dinner, just a little 10-15 minute exercise, just all the simple usual things. And I'm going to talk about ancient civilizations, which is something that I've been learning a lot about recently, and it is blowing my mind, so I'm going to share it now. So to start off, we'll do 2 minutes of burpees. As I know, everyone knows I love burpees. So we'll start in 4 seconds. So my quest to learn about ancient civilizations, I guess it started about a year ago, sort of by accident. I started reading and listening to a lot of different books, which theoretical books, philosophy, things like that. Book of Dreams by Carl Jung, Homo Deus and Sapiens by this guy Yuval Noah Harris, I think his name is. And they a lot of those books, they touch on older civilizations, and they touch on the concept that we're not the smartest nation, civilization. We're not the most technologically advanced, and basically that what we know, or what we think we know about ancient civilizations, is incorrect, and that the powers that be are either hiding the information from us about ancient civilizations, or they simply don't know or want to know. Now I imagine that governments and people with power and money want to find the answers more than I do, probably. So I imagine they already know the answers to everything. I imagine that that all of these things are already discovered, and that scientists and NASA, I was a bit broken glass there, scientists and NASA probably know all the things that I'm going to tell you for fact, yet for some reason we still get taught. Right, so that was 2 minutes press ups. We're going to do a minute mountain climbers, just like this. So I imagine that they already know all of this. So the first thing I wanted to touch on was Antarctica. Now, it always seemed bizarre to me that you have Antarctica there, a massive, huge continent of ice. Oh, this is real hard, so if you need to take a little break, you can take a break by stretching like this, or you can carry on. You can do it with your legs coming across like this. Makes it a bit harder. Knees touching your other elbows. Oh. So yeah, there's a big continent of Antarctica, which nobody seems to want to explore. There's a thing called the Antarctic Treaty, which actually forbids countries from exploring a lot there. Let's do a minute of plank. And now the Antarctic Treaty is supposed to stop people from testing bombs and things like that on Antarctica. And maybe that's a good thing, because maybe countries would set off bombs there, try and melt all of the ice and try and make it habitable, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. And now there are lots of conspiracy theories about Antarctica. Flat earthers will tell you that Antarctica surrounds, so that the world is a flat circle shape, and Antarctica surrounds all of us. Now, I have no proof to prove that right or wrong, because the only proof that I have, or that we have, is what we're told. I've never been to Antarctica, so I don't know. So I can't tell you whether the flat earth people are right or wrong. I mean, you would hope that they're wrong. Okay, right, now we're going to do touching up. Legs in the air, touching up like this. So you can touch your toes like this, if you can, keeping your legs as straight as possible. So I'd like to think that the flat earth people are wrong. And wait, I'm going to go around this way so you can hear me better. Yeah, I would like to think that they're wrong, because it would be a shame if we were being completely lied to about even the shape of our planet, and it would throw everything into question about the whole of our knowledge of space and astrology and physics and everything. Would all be a complete lie, and I don't really see any benefit for that. Okay, now we'll come down to leg lifts like this. I don't really see any benefit. Like, I'm all for conspiracy theories, and the majority of conspiracy theories are based on truth. They can be exaggerated, but a lot of the major ones, as far as I'm concerned, are true. Because most of the time, masses of people don't make up similar stories or the same story just for the sake of nothing. And you always think, when there's a conspiracy theory, you always think to yourself, why? I always think, why would they lie about this? And the answer to it, most of it comes money or power. You know, 9/11, that may or may not have been a conspiracy. Why would they lie about that? To make everybody unite in hatred against the Muslims. To capitalise on insurance money from the buildings. To cause a worldwide panic, which could then be used for, okay, now sit up and we'll do this, create a worldwide pandemic, which then allowed them to install the Anti-Terrorism Act, which allowed people to be detained with no questioning for up to 28 days on basis of terrorism. It allowed them to tap into people's phones. It effectively allowed them, the government this is, to spy on anyone they want in the name of anti-terrorism, which may be a bad thing, maybe a good thing. I mean, if you've got nothing to hide, then why do you care if people are spying on you? That's what I think. All this anti-privacy, you know, people complaining about governments and things having our details. Why do people care? You know, in reality, they want to use them for big data so that they can make better AI, they can work things out, and they can advance the human race. Right, we're going to do lunges like this. So just switching from leg to leg like that. Oop. Keep them straight. Try and keep your back straight. So back to ancient civilizations. So I've been listening to an audible of a book called Fingerprints of the Gods, and it's amazing. It talks about ancient civilizations, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Egyptians, who I think are probably the most awesome. And it starts off by talking about Antarctica. Now it says that they found a map in the 1500s, I believe, and on this map was the world was mapped out pretty accurately as far as we're concerned, and it had on it Antarctica as a continent. Right, I'll do squats now, so I'll do this sideways on. Try to keep your back straight. At any point if you need a rest, just pause for a bit, take your breath and come back in. So it had Antarctica, and on the coastlines of Antarctica it had towns or areas mapped out, and the coastline of Antarctica was mapped out pretty accurately. Now this might not seem so strange, but then you remember that Antarctica is a big massive lump of ice, and they put continents on, they put like towns and villages mapped out on there, and so this made no sense. It's believed that this map was then copied from older maps, from older civilizations. And the Egyptians actually had maps which also accurately depicted the world and depicted Antarctica with actual civilizations on it. And so, as far as we were always concerned, Antarctica's just been a lump of ice. But new research, and it's debated by what are called, I think they're called orthodox geologists, people who are really strict and straight on what they think. But new theories have come up saying that that actually Antarctica used to be further north and not in the Antarctic Circle, and there was a shift in the crust of the Earth which actually pushed Antarctica into the Arctic Circle and caused it to start freezing. Now what we're going to do, I know, these are like jumping jack things in and out, and so we have it there, Antarctica. Maybe it has civilization on it, maybe not. Why is it being protected? We don't know. But that's only the tip of the iceberg, don't pardon the pun, because the ancient Egyptians, the pyramids, these pyramids, copies of them, are found in different parts of the world. So there are Mayan pyramids. There's one called, I think it's the Pyramid of the Sun, or the Temple of the Sun, and they are remarkably accurate, remarkably similar to the pyramids in Egypt. And now they also, in South America, various different civilizations have stories, legends. Let's go down for some bicycle. They have stories of civilizations being in contact with the Egyptians, picking up different what are they called, myths and stories from them about stories describing Jesus Christ, describing his stories. So stories that were from the Bible, similar stories of a similar man are in Mexico, are in the Andes region, so it's Bolivia, Peru, Colombia, and all the various old civilizations, the Aztecs, the Mayans, a few others which I can't remember the names of, they all have similar stories. And again, this is only the tip of the iceberg, because there's some real crazy stuff which I want to go into more. For this one, I'm just kind of tickling your interest, maybe a bit not very well, because it's quite difficult to explain it all simply from start to finish. It's a 14-hour-long book, so I'm trying to summarise it. But basically what it's showing is that these pyramids, these sculptures, these traditions, these religions, and things like that, we're told that the Egyptians lived between 5,000 and 3,000 BC, I think it is. No wait, sorry, I think it's 3,000 BC roughly, so about 5,000 years ago. But the pyramids are said to outdate that massively. Some archaeologists and some researchers believe that the pyramids are actually about 30,000 years old, and they outdate even the Ice Age. Same with the Sphinx in Egypt. Some believe that that outdates even that, and they can tell these different things from, for example, watermarks on the Sphinx, of water erosion, and they know that there wouldn't have been any water in the desert for more than 10,000 years. They can tell all these things from archaeology. Now I'm going to do some simple side touches like this. These are good for your obliques. There's also talks of being able to, the Egyptians having technology to measure out the earth. The Egyptians and people maybe before them, they built the pyramids, or whoever built the pyramids, built those pyramids, and the pyramids are they're mathematically perfect, a mathematically perfect model of the shape and size of the earth. So the distances, like to do with the height, the width and stuff like that. I can't go into the mathematics of it because I don't remember them, but it's all an exact model, like a perfect exact model of the size of the earth. And so these people have done this, however many years ago it is, they've made a perfect model. Not only that, but they've made this humongous pyramids, they put them on astrological spots. For anyone that knows about astrology, well, you don't have to know about astrology to know what north and east are, but they put the pyramid facing north, astrological north, and they've got it accurate, almost exactly accurate, this enormous pyramid, which today, with all of our amazing technology, we would struggle to do that today, to replicate that. In fact, we probably wouldn't be able to do it with such accuracy. And they've done that, supposedly, using, just manpower, loads of slaves. But I don't believe that for a second. There's talk of different, let's do some leg lifts and coming up like this. There's talk of different methods. There's talk of using sound and effectively kind of magic to move big blocks of stone. And this isn't just talked about in Egypt, this is talked about in South America, this is talked about in other places in the Middle East. There's been like ritual sites, opened up where these things are supposedly happening. So for all of these people around the world who at differing times, who supposedly have never met, and they're all talking about the same things, they all have talks about other life forms, but all the same ones. The same drawings of people with like crocodile heads, different gods. The gods they all have different names, but all of the drawings, ancient Sumeria, which is in the Middle East, is one of the oldest civilizations that we know of. They have all these drawings of gods, which the Egyptians have pretty much the exact same ones. The Mayans have pretty much the exact same ones. The Aztecs, other ancient civilizations, they all have these same drawings of these same gods. And now that just blows my mind, because like I said, these people have supposedly never met. Let's do some press-ups now. So it got me onto thinking that, all of the myths and things that we hear, all of the, the magical stories and things like that we write off as myth and legend, got me to start thinking, what if it's all true? What if all of these creatures did used to exist? I've always thought that dragons existed at some point, because how would someone make that up? Why would someone make that up? A big flying kind of animal like that, it's not that hard to believe. There's other things that look similar. Komodo dragon, things like that. Other weird reptiles that look similar. How was this, 18 minutes? I'll do some side flank. Other reptiles which look the same. So it didn't seem to me too far-fetched to think that would actually be real. You have all of this talk of magicians, alchemists, Merlin. These stories, they come up all over the world of people doing similar things. Alchemists turning metal into gold. So that's what alchemists do. They try and turn precious metals into gold. So these people are talked about all over the world, and it got me to thinking, maybe they are real, maybe they were real. All of these ancient books still exist, all these books about alchemy, and what to do, and I've read a couple. And yeah, it just really started changing my perspective on, you know, we always doubt and laugh these things off, but it got me thinking that humans are a bit like computers. You know, we're programmed to do things, we're programmed from a set of hormones, a set of emotions. We are effectively just coded. Our genes are effectively just different code passed down. Our DNA is a set of biological code. Everything about us, we're not as unique as we think we are. We're unique in the sense that we have a serial number, which is our exact genetic makeup and our DNA, but we're not unique. We're, you know, there's probably in the world people, different coloured skin, who are pretty much the exact same as you. If there's 8 billion people on this earth, there's probably thousands of people who personality-wise and looks-wise, maybe the different skin colour, are almost exactly the same as you. So it just got me thinking that we probably, as humans, you know, we can't really think up unique ideas. All of our ideas are based on things that we've heard, read or seen. Everything we think of, everything we come up with is just a collection. We don't really have unique ideas that are just plucked from nowhere. We need to have seen or heard something. You know, like if, as a baby, if you're given a mental stimulation, you'll grow up with learning difficulties because you haven't been stimulated. And so, got me just thinking that all of these things that we see and read and hear about, maybe we should believe them until we can prove them wrong, as opposed to thinking they're wrong till we can prove them right. Because what reason do people have to lie is the main thing. For what reason would people thousands of years ago, when it was difficult to write books, it was expensive, it was incredibly expensive, those books then had to be, you know, kept in really safe places and stored and things like that. And there's a book called the Book of Kells, which is a book written in Ireland, supposed to be written in 800 AD, and it was written and took so long to create, with tons of different authors and artists who intricately designed it all and everything like that. And then it had to get carried around the island by different monks. It had the original Gospels of the Bible in it. It had to be carried around Ireland, which is just rains and cold all the time, protected, to then take it to all of these monks who then copied out of it, and that had to be taken around by foot and horse or whatever, the whole of Ireland. Why would people write stuff which was not true? People do that nowadays. As it became more easier, people started doing propaganda and things, and I'm sure maybe there were some exaggerations, but on the whole, why would people waste their time? When, you know, it's not really, the further back you go, the less beneficial it is, because not that many people could even read. So the people you're giving it to are going to be questioning it anyway. So it's not going to the general public. But it just got me thinking, if anyone's interested in any of this stuff, I'm going to make loads more, because I've done 1% of what I want to talk about. But if anyone's interested, talk to me and I'll tell you more, and I'll keep making videos. I'll put them on my podcast as well. That's being created at the moment. But yeah, it's just something I think is really cool. So follow me on all social media, The Quest for Wisdom, subscribe to my channel, and message me in any way you want, and we can chat. Thank you.